This is Restless by Design. Before we begin, I just want to say this is a place to slow down, to notice what's just beneath the surface. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Section 3. Yep, we're already there. The self that keeps becoming, the return. So, just for a little recap here, Section 1 was internal. That mind that won't settle, the way we process, resist, eventually find something that feels like ground. Then there was Section 2, and I took us outside into the friction, the landscape of where we all live, that instability that we're always absorbing before we even realize that we're absorbing it. Okay, so now we're back, not to where we started, but just to ourselves after everything. That's Section 3, the return, the self that keeps becoming. We spend a lot of time in the friction. And so this new section is going to ask a quieter question, which is, what does it look like to come back to yourself once you've sat with all of that? Not a resolution, not a tidy answer. It's just a return to something underneath. And this chapter, chapter 10, is where that begins. Chapter 10, there's a version of me that no longer fits. There's this specific kind of shift that doesn't announce itself. Nothing obvious happens at first. On the outside, things look exactly the same routines, same spaces, same conversations. What I'm getting back to is the mundane of the day to day. But underneath this, there is now something that feels different. And it's subtle and it's hard to name, but it's just this quiet sense that this version of you that's moving through life, it's not quite aligned in the same way before. We're not processing things maybe in the same time. Maybe the pendulum is a little faster, a little slower. And for a while, it's easy to ignore, maybe not even see it yet. And nothing is technically wrong. You can still show up, you can still participate. You are still who you've always been from the outside, but internally, something starts to pull. Small resistance, kind of friction. Moments where something that once felt natural, now it feels slightly off. And it's not dramatically, not even enough to notice. You can still move in the same way, but it takes more effort than it used to. So think about this like a habit that you kept long past the point that you enjoyed it, right? Not because you loved it, but just because the slot was there. Letting go wasn't the hard part. It was leaving that space blank long enough for something truer to fill it. It's just more awareness, more adjustment. And without a clear reason, the effort becomes harder to explain. And then something happens. A realization, not all at once, but enough to shift how you see. And once it lands, it doesn't leave. We cannot forget it. You can try to move the same way, say the same things, stay in the same places, but something inside of you is aware now. And that awareness changes everything, not externally, internally. A quiet sense of, oh, aha. Well, from that point on, there's a kind of honesty that's difficult to avoid because your instinct knows, your body knows, even if your mind is still catching up. And then this is where the shift deepens. It's no longer just a feeling, it's a knowing. And knowing doesn't always tell you what to do. It's just removing the option of going back, right? You're no longer fully inside what you were, but you're not fully in what's next either. You're in the in-between, holding something you now understand without having to rearrange your life around it. There's a quiet grief in that, even when nothing visible has been lost. A version of yourself that once fit no longer does in the same way. And that version wasn't wrong. It carried you. It made sense. It just isn't fully true anymore. So the question shifts. Not, well, what do we do next? But how do we stay with what we now know without rushing, without forcing clarity too soon, just allowing this change to be happening internally before anything needs to change externally, because something is already moving, even if it isn't fully visible. And once you see it, feel it, you don't get to not know it anymore.